What's going on? Today we're going to talk about my favorite top 10 books that I highly recommend for every single entrepreneur to start reading immediately. So we're going to start right off with my first favorite book, which is The Magic of Thinking Big. And I'm have you guys have my editor put up the picture so you guys can see it as well. The Magic of Thinking Big. What an amazing, amazing book. That book has changed my life by teaching me how to think bigger than the way I am. I used to have a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, a lot of worry, and that book helped me think bigger and start dreaming bigger. So if you have any issues of, just thinking differently, that book will highly change your life. In my opinion, highly change your life because it'll help you understand there's secrets of success are not found in everyone's life. Like sometimes we grow up with moms and dads that don't teach us these things. Like when I read this book, I was like, wow, this is what it takes to become successful and to start thinking bigger, thinking like a successful person. So I highly recommend, reading that book. Number 2 on the list is the 10X rule. Now you may not like it because you hear Grant Cardone. You may not even know who Grant Cardone is. He's too aggressive. He's too this, he's too that. But in my mindset, I will never forget in 2015, I was sitting there at dinner with one of my friends, like, you got to check out this book by Grant Cardone. I'm like, oh, okay, great. I'll look into it. And then I go into an interview, and the manager there had the 10X rule on the table. And when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. This is not the first time I see this book. This is the second time I see this book. So it must be a sign that I have to read it. And when I read this book, oh my God, you may think I was happy or excited or pumped up. I was angry. I was so angry because in my mind, I was like, wow, how come no one gave me this information when I was a child? How come no one gave me this information years ago? I wasted so many years by working hard. And that book really teaches you what working hard is all about and how to create massive action to go out there in the marketplace and really crush your goals and crush your dreams. So highly recommend it for those of you that are ambitious and are driven. Highly recommend you, to read the 10X rule. And if you're lazy, you definitely need to read that book, okay? The next book is Think and Grow Rich. Changed my life, an incredible book. Some of you guys may have not read it, but it's a masterpiece, okay? Napoleon Hill has a 900-page book that he built, and Think and Grow Rich, the shorter version, is condensed into a book where you and I can read it, right? And what Napoleon Hill did was he went around all the successful people at the time, Andrew Carnegie, the Rockefellers, the Roosevelt, all those successful people at that age, at that time, and he literally studied them for 20 years. And compiled all the things that you need to do to become successful and become rich. So highly recommend you reading that book. The next book is by Jordan Belfort. Now you may say, oh, Michael, didn't he do a lot of scamming and screwed a lot of people with a lot of money back in the day? I understand that. But he's still an amazing sales guy. And he made some mistakes in the past, right? And he openly talked about that. But The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort is an incredible book to teach you persuasion and teach you sales. It really helps you understand how to be a wolf in the marketplace and really close them deals. So highly recommend you. If you're an entrepreneur or salesperson, definitely recommend it. The next book is The Closer's Survival Guide. That book, listen, if you're dealing with customers on a daily basis, this is going to be your book that you're going to carry with you. This book will end up becoming so crumbled. You ever seen a book that gets like all dirty and crumbled and all kind of folded up? That's the kind of book that's what's going to happen with this book because you're going to be writing in it and putting all your objections in it, handling those rebuttals. Like you're going to have it. It's going to be an amazing book. Trust me, that book helped me go from making, a couple $1,000 a week to hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Literally, that book changed my life, okay? Next book, Failing Forward. Amazing book. I read it when I was 19 and a half years old. I will never forget. My mentor's like, do you read books? I was like, books are for losers, okay? And the biggest loser was me at the time, right? If you can imagine. So that was one of the first few books that I started to read. It changed my life because I was so afraid of making mistakes, and you may be as well. And I was so afraid of making mistakes, so petrified of making the wrong decision, the wrong move, because I wanted things to be perfect. And that book helped me so much by learning that failing forward is the process of becoming successful. There's more failures than successes when it comes to business. I have failed so much, so many times, but there's a lot of failures, and through those failures comes successes, okay? Great book. Next book, Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. By the way, that book by John Maxwell is by John Maxwell, so you guys don't know, all right? You guys should see the books in the video as well. Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. Incredible book. Incredible. If you're in sales, must read. You got to read it ASAP. Amazing book. Teaches you how to sell, teaches you how to have the right mindset to go out there and sell, and not only how to sell other people, but also how to sell yourself. Because in order for you to sell other people, you need to be sold yourself. And he talks about that in that book, and it really changes your life. The next book, this man really, you guys have probably heard him. This guy has a crazy mindset, okay? His name is David Goggins, right? Can't Hurt Me. That book made me cry. And usually I'm not a crying kind of guy, but that book made me cry and tear up because I related so well with his story. And If you think you've been through tough shit, listen to his story, right? He teaches you how to have mental calluses and use your pain as fuel for the future. So incredible, incredible book. Highly recommended. If you can listen to it and read it at the same time, incredible, okay? Next, Tillman Fertitta, right? Amazing book. He actually owns like hundreds and thousands of restaurants. I don't know exactly how much number he has. He's worth like $4 or $5 billion bucks. The book is called Shut Up and Listen. An incredible book for if you're a CEO, you got to read that book. You need to listen and understand what your customers and employees are always telling you and kind of listen to the crowd so you can make those necessary changes to improve your business. So it's a great book, highly recommended for brand new entrepreneurs, an incredible, incredible book, right? And the last book is by Patrick Bet-David, okay? Your Next 5 Moves. You need to have the strategy and the tactics of where you're going in your business. And Patrick Bet-David talks about that book. I love Patrick because he talks about a lot of other things and a lot of videos, a lot of content, his events, like all the things he does is amazing, but this book really will slap you and tell you, hey, these are the 5 next moves you need to make. So these are the top 10 books that I recommend to all my guys all the time. If you want to get a book list, these are the top 10. Start reading these books and get into the habit of reading, because if you're going to be reading, you will eventually learn how to be a leader, because leaders are readers, okay? We always hear that saying, we always know that, but you have to get good at reading. And by the way, if you can't read, you're dyslexic, or you don't have time, okay, put on some earbuds and listen to the audiobooks, right? Listen to the audiobooks and go to those books. I promise you, the information you get from these books is going to change your life. It's going to change your life. I promise you that. And if it doesn't, shoot me a DM and say, Michael, I read all these 10 books. They were all trash. I want you to DM me. And if you did read them all, do me a favor. DM me on Instagram or anywhere and let me know, Michael, I appreciate the book list and I love the book list. I went through the book list and it changed my life. So if you have not done so yet, subscribe to the channel. Please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and drop a comment, drop a like, drop a share to some of your friends and family so you can see the book list, so you can change their life. And we'll see you guys in the next video.